Hi, everyone. I'm Shartia Brantley, Deputy New York Bureau Chief with Bloomberg, as well as Senior Editor for Bloomberg Live. And I'm delighted to discuss how HBCU alums can leverage their platforms to boost these vital institutions with Kevin Liles, co-founder and CEO of 300 Entertainment. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, so great to have you here. We have a lot of ground to cover, so I just want to dig in. You have such a fascinating background, from working with Megan Thee Stallion to Jay-Z and many, many more popular acts. But I want to go back to the beginning. Growing up in Baltimore, can you expand on why you decided to attend Morgan State University?
Well, there's a lot of reasons why I decided to attend the HBCU. But one of the most important reasons was I had a guy named Joe Woodfolk that was one of my counselors at Woodlawn High School. And he recognized something in me because I was smart in math. I kind of was a problem solver for a lot of issues that we were having at the school. And he encouraged me to do engineering. You know, the funny thing about it, I never grew up wanting to be an engineer, but I love solving problems. And he said, you know, you should apply to Morgan State. There's a Nassau scholarship. And the next thing I knew, I graduated on June 10th, and I was in school at Morgan State on June 22nd. So it was a funny thing, and it was inspired by him. And thanks to Nassau and all the other people at Morgan State that helped me while I was there.
Mm-hmm. And as a fellow HBCU alum, I understand the importance of the support and encouragement that we receive from faculty and administrators there. Can you expand on how that support and encouragement impacted you during your time there?
Well, you know, when there's faculty and, you know, whether it's in sports or in engineering or in English, math, that look like you. Maybe as parents, they're going through the same things that your parents are going through. Maybe there's a beacon of light from a broken home. Then you go there and you see a professor that's diligent, a professor who's acting not in just his best interest as being a great teacher, but your best interest. That's inspiring for young people. Where in Baltimore, at 16, you're supposed to be in jail on drugs or dead. So when you see that inspiration around you, and not only faculty and the rest of the staff there, but other people, other kids that come from diverse backgrounds, some like you, but some not like you, because, you know, at the end of the day, everyone that goes to a HBCU didn't grow up poor. You know, a HBCU is a fine institution that is necessary in the development of people of color as we go out into the world.
Mm-hmm. Now, you are definitely an active alum, having served as honorary chair for Morgan State's fundraising campaign for its 150th year anniversary a couple of years ago. That campaign raised more than $250 million from thousands of supporters. Why is alumni engagement so important to HBCUs?
Well, I think historically, a lot of people forget where they come from. But it's something about an HBCU. You can't forget from whence you came, because whether it's walking the yard or in the cafeteria or that favorite concert, you know, or I have one of my favorite, teachers in engineering, Dr. Dean Deloach. You just remember the impact that moment or that event or that space that you gathered with your friends had, not just on your tenure in school, but on your life. And I find it disheartening that, you know, colleges and universities that are not HBCUs are endowed with billions of dollars. And I think it's Howard that has like maybe 400 million in endowment, and the rest of them are, you know, 75, 100 million. We got a lot of work to do. So it's important that you never forget that kid that's the next Liles, or the kid that's the next Earl Graves, or the kid that's the next Kwasi Mfume, that you have to go back and you have to give back at a place that raised us. I always, think about the very people, comedians, White House correspondents, fashion designers, artists. A lot of people have come from Morgan, and I'm just blessed. And I'll always go back and give back, to the school that gave so much to me.
Mm-hmm. So you talked about the challenges these institutions have with endowments and such. So what can HBCU alums, as well as leaders from major companies, do to create more opportunities for students that graduate from these amazing institutions?
I think fundamentally we have to address the issue. This is not a today issue, and it's not a HBCU issue. It's an American issue. It's an issue that comes from systems being against us, oppressing us, over years and years that have now allowed us to build sustainable wealth for people of color. So this is not my problem or my mother's problem or my grandfather's problem. This is a problem that we've had for centuries. And even going into 2022, I say, we're still not there and still not in a place where even if you graduate, you have the same opportunity as someone that is not of your color. You can have the same resume, same grades, and you might not get a position at a business because of the color of your skin. And this, you think about, are we still dealing with these issues? Yes, we're still dealing with these issues. I'd rather fight a war on equality than some of the wars that we've been fighting for trillions of dollars and spending 20, 30 years and wasting great fathers and mothers' lives fighting something that we could be here fighting to make our country a better country.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned earlier about the endowment situation. I believe Howard has an endowment north of $700+ million. But over the past year, we have seen the reckoning on race, post the killings of Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, and how that all sparked the global calls for justice, economic and racial justice. But only a few HBCUs have received the attention prior to what we have endured over the past 18 months. What advice do you give to your fellow executive peers on going beyond the top 3, 4, or 5 HBCUs to seek out talent?
Well, I think it's not even taking a risk. It's use common sense. And 48% of my staff, senior staff, are people of color. 48% gender, gender, how can I say, equality in my executive team. And half my staff is diverse. I make that a choice as a CEO. Every CEO has a choice to put leadership around them that looks like the people they are servicing. So it's one thing you want us to drink your drinks and eat your food and buy your clothes, but you don't want to employ the very people that come from the very communities that you're making the money in. I saw if I ever had the opportunity to be in any managed position, that I would change the statistic. And that's why, if I can do it with only, 67 people with a small company, I'm sure that many CEOs that have the opportunity for many other people to be hired, that they can take that opportunity and always speak. A lot of say, well, we don't know where they are. Well, I can give you a countless amount of HBCUs where they are. I can give you a countless amount of people who call me every day just looking for an opportunity, whether they graduated with great grades in engineering, marketing, technology, science. They're out there. And I've dedicated my life also to making sure that the excuse is not that they're not there. No, they're there, and I know where they are, and let's set up some programs so they can help make your company even a better, more diverse and thoughtful company in the community.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about some of the initiatives that you yourself have worked on to create opportunities for talent. One is the Intern to CEO project that launched last year. Can you tell us a little bit more about that initiative?
You know, a lot of people know my story from intern, president, and CEO. When I wrote the book, I didn't write it to tell people to make it happen and be like me. I told them my story, and really my story is the story of someone growing up with a rusty spoon in their mouth that didn't take that as the norm. And I took that statistic and went from the street corner to the corner office, and believed in entrepreneurship, believed in risk-taking, and think about all the risks that people have taken for us to even get here to where we are. And I can't sit breathing, have an opportunity to breathe and have all my hands, my eyesight, and the strength, and not pay forward for what people have given up for me to be able to vote, for me to be able to go to school, you know, for me to be able to employ people and to make millionaires over the last 30 years. I can't do it on my watch, so I want to inspire people. And I think everybody has their own story and their own opportunity, but it was important to give back and say, hey, guys, you know, I did go from intern to CEO, but you can too. You know, I did start in engineering at a certain time in high school, but you could start. We had a Verizon Minority Meal Makers program that we did about 6 or 7 HBCUs where we had kids create apps and create 3D printing and things that they never would have had the opportunity to do. You know, I've launched many music contests. One of the greatest ones I did, I gave $25,000 to whatever band, HBCU band, that could actually redo Hot of Young Thug and Gunna, and that went to FAMU. I constantly try to do things, and one of the last initiatives I did in June, I think in June, I feel that we are underrepresented at the highest law enforcement, being the FBI, and you have actual agents out there in communities that they don't understand. So they making calls from a place of maybe of knowledge, but not from a place of the neighborhood, not from a place of what caused it, how it was caused, and what the community feels. And because the community is not talking, because they don't know the person, their person's not up their cloth. So I had like 30 HBCU presidents join me at the new facility down in Alabama, in Huntsville, Alabama, along with the director, along with his number 2 and number 3, and we committed to having a funnel of qualified students enroll in the highest law enforcement in our country, that's FBI. Project Beacon.
Mm-hmm. Yes. How did you engage, or who came to you about the Beacon, Project Beacon program?
I think in my travels, whether it's on speaking circuits or friends of friends, me making sure that we are represented at all forms of law enforcement, you know, all forms of businesses, is as important to me as being the CEO and founder of 300. And so I have a lot of friends who have me come and speak to me on this very issue with their chief diversity officers, or speak at a Black History Month program or a Black Music Month program. And in this particular case, I spoke and I met a guy who said, you know, you have to help us change what's going on here after the FBI. Top of the line, amazing people. But we need more people who look like us, who actually are committed to upholding the law, but equal justice for all, not just justice.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned entrepreneurship earlier and some of the initiatives you've done with some of our young students. How important is it for you to leverage your platform at 300 Entertainment to support artists who want to enter the industry as entrepreneurs, having that ownership mentality?
Yeah, I think, you know, when you have nothing and you're able to turn nothing into something, you don't believe it's some secret sauce. I don't think God gave me anything other than my health and an opportunity and a community around me that believed in me. And it's important because independence is in my DNA. Independence to be a great father, independence to strive for freedom, independence to be a great leader, independence to be a great husband. And I work hard every day at that. And I feel that, if we all, let's say, found that DNA, the independent DNA in us, and just because you're independent don't mean you have to do it alone. It just means that you have the opportunity to think for yourself, to be yourself, to live and die by your choices in life. And I believe we all have that independence, and it's one of the most important things. And I look for people to work for me that share the same love. I said it's three things. There's right or wrong, good and bad, and treat people how you want to be treated. There is a more moral fiber at my company. There's a moral compass at my company that's around the more success, the more responsibility that you have. And it's been many countless of programs that we've done throughout the pandemic and before the pandemic that continues to separate us from other people who are in the industry.
Mm-hmm. Now, your roster at 300 Entertainment includes, Megan Thee Stallion, Young Thug, Gunna, and Fetty Wap, just to name a few. And of course, it continues to grow. How has your HBCU experience informed your ability to build this label and be a force in the industry that it is today?
Well, I always knew that, in Baltimore, there's Johns Hopkins and there's Morgan State. And there's a couple of other colleges. And I always felt like we were the underdog. We were the one that were looked over. And, whenever the underdog comes and wins, and if you go to Morgan now, you see it's probably providing some of the top, most of the top engineers in the country with jobs around the world. And Dr. Wilson has done an amazing job on the campus. I always felt like the underdog, the one that you think can't, is the one that will. And so to me, Morgan State, being a Morgan State Bear, having an opportunity to be around people that look like me and talk like me and walk like me and had some of the same successes that I have, it was just inspiring. And I feel that it's now translated. Dr. Deloach said to me, Kevin, you're one of our most famous engineers. I said, Doc, what do you mean? He said, because you engineered your way through life. And to me, it was one of the greatest accomplishments and compliments that I could get from my dean. And it's just such an inspiration, man. The place, if it wasn't for Morgan State, I really would have to tell you, I might not be as good at what I do today, because I believe with the trials and tribulations that we're in to where we are now, those footsteps and footprints, as I said, it was a safe harbor in my storm called America.
Mm-hmm. Before we close, is there any additional thoughts you would like to leave with our audience today?
I think many people blame other people or their current position on why they can't do and why they won't do and shoulda, coulda, woulda in those particular cases. I believe God gave us all a gift. That gift we should share with the world. My gift is to inspire those to say, take nothing and make it something, so somebody can take something and make it even bigger. So, we're going to lead the foundation and continue to work as a great inspiration and small company that could. And congratulations to all my staff and all of you guys who voted us the best work company, best place to work for, and the #1 independent company in the country.
Mm-hmm. Well, we must leave it there. Thanks so much to Kevin Liles, co-founder and CEO of 300 Entertainment. I could speak with you all day. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.